Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Roadish Podcast. My name is Rune, and as always, I have with me Armand. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
So this is going to be a significantly quieter and maybe more chill podcast than we usually do because we are recording this very, very late. We are a day ahead, which is nice, but it is late, and we're going to be considerate because other people have lives. We don't. We've been playing Tarkov for far too long. That's what literally all of our life has come down to. And as always, we don't have a plan for this particular one, but I have been told that Armand has like a life now or something. I don't know. You were very vague about it.
Yeah.
That wow. Okay, great. Thanks.
I was supposed to start talking.
Of course. Okay. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the podcast, audio platform and all that. You do chatting about shit.
Recently I got a job as a maths tutor for smart kids. So I tutor maths to kids that are 12, right, or 6, and then they do A-level maths or calculus, right?
I feel like this is do you know the saying blind leading the blind? Why do I feel like this is the dumb teaching the dumb? How the fuck? Okay. Let's take it back a little bit. How did you end up with tutoring maths? Why are you doing this?
So my current A-level maths teacher is she owns a tutoring maths center, and she said, "Oh, you'd be perfect to work there because you're very good. You're extremely good at maths, and you'd be a great fit for the team per se."
Okay. Right.
So she's hired me per se, and
okay. When you say hired, are you being paid?
Yes.
Okay, but good start. Okay.
Right, I'm getting paid. I'm working only 7 hours a week, right? 2 days a week.
7 hours a week.
It's not a lot, but that's literally. I'm working every hour that the center's open. I'm at work.
Right. Okay.
And it's 2 days a week. It's on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But that's no problem. I don't mind that. It's quite far from where I live. It's like a half-hour, 40-minute train ride, but my transport's getting paid, so there's no problem.
Oh, okay. That's pretty decent then. Because I was going to say, if you're using those 7 hours a week to pay for the transport to get there, it's like, what's the point? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, no. Transport's included, right? I'm not getting paid, right? So right now I'm not getting paid a huge amount, but
obviously we both know why without saying too much, but obviously.
When my teacher leaves to go back to China this summer, right? I will have to take on her role as main educator, right? So then I'll be getting paid a lot more, nearly double or triple what I already am.
Well, you'll be paid more for sure because you'll probably be doing more hours, I would assume.
No, same hours.
Okay, well, even still.
Yeah, but it's good. I enjoy it. There's a 6-year-old that does. There's a 6-year-old Chinese kid, right, that does the exact thing for maths that I was doing in year 11, and he's 6.
Yeah, there was a conversation I listened to. It was either earlier today or yesterday, essentially saying about how the different types of learning culture there is, and the stringent how would you put it, the stringent routines that Asian children are quite often subjected to, if you will, in that the expectations are very, very high, so they tend to outperform pretty much most other groups.
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me too much, but I get what you mean. It's
not to characterize, but there's not a single white kid. There's every single person there is Asian or African. There's not a single. There's not a single European or British or anything like that. Which it has a bit of humor to it if you think about it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's good. Again, I would put it down to a cultural thing.
Yeah, but they're all very nice kids, right? And they all they're all very, very intelligent. We also have some special needs children, right? Learning difficulties and all that. But right now that is not something I deal with. Yeah. Maybe in the summer I'll have to, but I don't know.
No, I don't think it would change too much.
Yeah, but it's a nice place. It's a job. I'm getting paid, and in the future, right, when I do my personal statement or CV, to say I've worked as a maths tutor compared to saying I've worked in Mackeys, it's
Yeah.
a big difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference. It's like a role of responsibility and whatnot, and something
And
that it can be looked up to.
and for Rune, because obviously Rune thinks I'm an absolute idiot, I am
Yep.
actually quite good at maths, right?
That's fine.
Yeah,
You
I
can
know.
be as good as maths as you want. It's just one of those that.
I am an idiot. I agree with you. I very much am. But when I tend to not be an idiot, I can be very good at maths, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone has
Anyway,
their thing that they're good at. Like,
yeah.
I can't remember why I was decent. I liked maths more than English out of those two, but I was more of a science person. I don't know why. I just kind of leaned towards it.
From my personal knowledge, Rune is good at getting bitches.
No, yeah, Riz. That was definitely a class I took in school. It was actually, that was probably, if you ever saw a picture of me, let's say at your age, no is the answer. The amount of people that I've been told had, like, I'm one of them people that had like a glow up, if you will, because it was very like, unassuming when I was younger and nothing like really going on. And then it was like, oh, I hit like 19, 20, and it was like, oh, I guess I grew up slightly. I don't know, grew into something, had some sort of personality about me. But no, school was not the one for me. Not as far as bullied. I was like in with a lot of groups, but like not in with a lot of groups. Like I could say hi to people and be like, okay, that's as far as it goes. I don't know these people.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was awfully bullied in my younger years.
Oh.
But I feel like that's built a character to me.
Yeah,
because
we've spoken about it before. If you have the tools to deal with it, then then adversity, not adversity, that's the word. It can be dealt with. I wasn't in a school long enough to have that kind of issue. Dad was in the army, so we moved around a lot. So I wasn't in a school for an extended period of time.
Yeah. Also, this year I'm not of Islamic faith. I'm not Muslim, but I have decided to keep Ramadan. To do Ramadan.
Why?
Because one, and this is gonna sound like the whitest thing I could ever say. It's an experience. It's an experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And two, I have had many friends that have like, not necessarily complaining, but they're saying, "Oh, it's difficult, it's hard." I'm like, so.
Yeah, I would say from the outside looking in, it does look difficult. One of my closest friends, when again in school years and whatnot, was heavily Muslim and went through Ramadan, and I could see that he was struggling to some degree, because they were like a very foodie family, and then for this big change, some of their food was absolutely fucking amazing as well. It introduced me to a lot of new foods that I'm very thankful for the time now, and I'm just like, yes, I want more of that kind of thing. I think it was the first time that I was introduced. Do you know what lychee is, or lychee, however people want to pronounce it? Yeah. He introduced me to that, and I was like, this is banging. I haven't had it for ages, but yeah, he was the one who introduced me to that, and he was saying how he was struggling getting through Ramadan, and I respected that he wanted to do that kind of thing, but he spoke to me about a lot of like personal stuff that happened that's all to do with the faith.
First thing, and I've learned quite a bit about like the limitations we set to ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I went to the gym, right? So normally you're supposed to wake up before sahur, right? Which is
Sunrise.
The morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the morning bit, right? So you're supposed to wake up before that and have some food and some drink before you start your day, if you will, right? I didn't, because I was very, very tired yesterday, right?
Right.
So I just went to bed around 10 when I had my last drink of water, and I went the whole from 10 till 6:33 today without any food or drink or anything. And I went to the gym, I did my cardio, I did everything. And the only main difference that I've noticed was not to say I lacked motivation, but I wasn't as energetic in the gym. Like I felt like I was going through some of the exercise, and I was like, I can't do the same weight. I felt like, or the same amount of reps. Like I was doing lateral raises, and I had to do two reps less because like I would like struggle to get the last rep in. So I was doing 2 less reps to get like good form. And I went in because I set myself, so I'm going to do cardio every single day, right? because I'm obviously trying to cope.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'll do cardio every single day. And I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I'm doing cardio with no water. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm not a little bitch. I can do this.
Right.
So I was going on it, and after like 15 minutes, I look, I was like, I know it was like 14 minutes. I was like, I'll stop at 15, it'll be fine, I was like, but then I thought back, and I was like, no, there should be no excuse. So I went and did the full 20 minutes, but then it was good because by the time I got home, I had a few errands to run,
Mm-hmm.
and it was iftar, and I could eat. And very nicely, the people underneath us, right? There's a pizza shop underneath us, right? And the people, they are Muslim. And every day, like if there's letters or anything, I go and give it to them. So I went and gave them the letters, and I was like, Ramadan Mubarak, like the greeting they have. And I was like, oh, this year I'm fasting too. And they got their face lit up with happiness. You know, it's it was, it looks like I just gave them £1,000,000. And they were like, oh, come down, break your fast with us. When it was so. I went down. They gave me some food I've never actually tried before. There was this lentil soup with like lime juice through it. I don't know. And they had this rice with this sort of like stew thing. It was all very, very good food.
Mm-hmm.
It was very nice. Got a bit more cultural background. Being there.
Of course.
But yeah, it was very nice and definitely.
Are you finding it difficult? Obviously, how many days have you been doing it now? So is it just the one day?
This was day one. This is Ramadan the first, because they have in Islam culture they have different months. So right now, it's the month of Ramadan, and then it's actually for Islam it's year 1444.
Right. Okay.
So the month before Ramadan was Shaban, and the month after Ramadan, I will tell you right now, it's called Shahal. Cheval, something like that. Anyway,
I have no idea.
yeah. So, but this is day one, and I think to our calendar, it runs until April 20th. So April 20th is the last day of Ramadan.
April 20th. Okay, so it's not ages then. Like I thought it was a month thing. I thought it was like a full month.
Well, 29 days. 29 days.
29 days. I mean, it's a short month. If you're gonna pick it, I would have thought it would be like the full 30 days and just be like, right, cool, we've done like the 30 days that typically you'd expect a month. But I suppose with the whole timeline thing as well, that the you're saying it's a different year and how it's like set up. So yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense to a degree.
Yeah, but it's been, it hasn't been easy. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's been easy. It had its difficulties, So that then lady came up to us, right, and she was like, oh, I have a lot of food left, because obviously we have a lot of Muslims in the school, and they were like, oh, we have lots of food left, anyone want something? And I went to reach for food, and I was like, what am I doing?
Can't do that one. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So you're finding it reasonable then? It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not extremely hard. Obviously, back when I was like in the younger years, I didn't really have anything to eat in school, right? Because I didn't have free school meals, and then I wouldn't pack lunches, and I wouldn't have money off my finger, so I just would go to school and not eat for 5 hours. It wasn't that bad. So this is basically that, but just a little bit extended. So it's not that bad.
Oh right, okay. You're managing then. You're doing all right.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing okay.
Nice, good. And what's up?
What's been new with you?
I've been doing a lot of recovery. That's about it.
Yeah, but I've seen you've been going to some places and doing things.
I have, yeah. So I did my first airsoft game for quite a while, which I think we mentioned. I think I mentioned last week that I was going to the game. And it was a new place, hadn't been before. It was really cool. Chat with some new people, a bit older than me. I was kind of in a weird group, like age group. There was a load of guys that had been their first time going. They were just going as rentals. There were like a load of plasterers that their boss had paid for, and kind of made a few mates there. They were from quite far away. I don't want to say obviously locations and whatnot. The place that I went to was new to me, but because I turned up with stuff that I've used before in other places, they were like, "Oh, you must have been here a lot. You've been doing this for a while." And I was like, "Well, I've been doing it for I don't know 3 years or so, 3 to 4 years. I think I'm coming into my 4th year now." and it was decent. And I paced myself. I proper fucking paced myself. Okay, I really put my foot down. I was like, I'm gonna be careful of how I go, and we're just gonna see how it goes. It's a new environment. I don't know the layout of different places of essentially what you'd call a map, if you will, because obviously there's boundaries for where you can go during each game. And pacing myself fucked me over anyway. I ended up with horrific acid legs, as you probably know, going to the gym quite often. The first game of the day, I ended up scraping. So on a thorn bush, I ended up scraping a big cut into the back of my calf. So that was fun. And at some point, I knelt down to look like ADS, because we essentially had it was a team deathmatch, just nice and easy to warm up with, nothing special about it. Everyone had 3 lives. It was pretty standard, and it was pretty fun to play a team deathmatch. And I took a knee. I was having a sniper cover over my right hand side, and was trying to aim for these 2 guys that were stood behind trees. And immediately as my foot went down, there was a stub of some sort of growth out of the ground. So I wouldn't say a tree, because it didn't feel that hard. Immediately stabbed me in the shin, so I got a really nice cut on the front of my shin. But all in all, it was really good. One of the games that we played, everyone ran out of ammo because the marshals didn't tell us beforehand that we're going to need a fuckload of ammo, and that didn't happen. So a lot of people ran out. So I'm now looking into getting a drum mag that holds 2,300 rounds because I want it. Hoping to go. So not this weekend. I'll probably go again maybe next weekend, depending on how busy it ends up being, because it would be nice if there's obviously quite a lot of people.
Right.
And it was just essentially, and as I'd Snapchatted you as well, I got my body armor in and didn't realize that it could hold mags on the front of it, because it just said it was a plate carrier. It wasn't necessarily an ammo rig. So that was quite nice that it could hold 3 mags. I didn't have to dig out a load of the extra gear that I had to mix match some stuff together to hold extra mags. But no, managed to take all my stuff. My sight did really well. And other than that, the weather was a bit shit to start with, and then it got really nice towards the end of it. But it was an enjoyable day. I only missed out on 1 game because I was I haven't paced myself like I should have, as obviously my shins were hurting, and I was like, I need some food, because before I knew it, it was 10-1, and it had been 4 hours, and I hadn't eaten anything.
Right.
Games are 45 minutes, but they just go, they're just gone, and you're like, fuck, that was 45 minutes. No way that feels like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting as a new place. The rules were pretty much the same as most other places. Everyone was pretty honest. We didn't really have any issues with anyone not calling their shots. But it was good. It was good to use all the gear and see what I was missing, if I was missing anything, which I wasn't. Everything was decent. The only other thing that I want to buy is another rifle. Simply because my one is fine, but the upgrade path isn't much. So I've been recommended another one that's essentially on the same basis, but it's my stuff is Gen 2, and the new one I want to get is Gen 3, but that's where all the upgrade paths are, because Gen 3 has been around for so long.
I see.
Yeah, so the Gen 2 stuff is kind of outdated. They don't really do upgrades for it anymore, even though I did put some upgrades in the gun. It's as far as it can go. It isn't really worth doing much else to it now. So in the future, I'm going to chop up the one that I've got and make it a automatic sidearm. So that would be kind of interesting to have. But I'm going to put the upgrades that I've currently got. They can just be transferred into the Gen 3 stuff. So everything's backwards compatible.
Oh, that's cool.
So spend a bit of money. And then the other bit of news is that I finally, my custom guitar that I've mentioned a while ago, I finally got some decent pictures of it back in colour. I'm not going to show anyone yet, but the purple looks fucking banging. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's got the carving in it, and it looks like it's going to be done, hopefully, within about 6 to 7 weeks now. So hopefully it will be on its way to me soon. But I'm not looking forward for paying for that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Other than that, I put some shiny new headlights in my car because I wanted to do a nice upgrade, and with the weather being as crap as it has been more recently, I wanted some new headlights. Not exactly newsworthy, but that's about it.
New headlights are new headlights,
Yeah, it's just nice to have it modernized and have something a little bit more up to date in a 2006 car. I think it's a 2006 car. I can't even remember the date.
Really?
Yeah,
That's not.
it's
It's,
an
it's
older
not
car.
that
It's
bad.
fine. Yeah, I know. I like my little car. It's fine. I potter around and do 20-minute drives, and it's decent.
Yeah.
Does all right. Anyway, you wanted to talk about the LINUS thing, so we'll
Right.
briefly touch on it because I don't actually know that much. I very quickly skimmed through the Twitter thread, and watched 2 or 3 videos a minute ago about what possibly happened. We don't know yet, so this is all conjecture. We're just guessing.
So what
But go
I've
for it.
heard happened
Yeah, go for it.
was one of the members of the team was looking for like 3 emails to see for like promotional or whatever
Mm-hmm.
for sponsorships, and they clicked on a link and they literally gave access to every single channel, right?
Right.
Uh, so then if you search any Linus Tech Tip channel, at this point in time where we are, every single one of them has been terminated by YouTube because the person has hacked every channel and
Mm-hmm.
has made it into a crypto scam live channel,
Mm-hmm.
right? So but luckily, because the community is great, everyone that had like premium memberships per se for the channel
Yeah,
was super chatting and saying this is a scam, this is a scam, this is not live tips, right?
of course.
And
Kind of
they
makes
were,
sense.
it was like quite nice to see people do that, right? So they would kept telling everyone, sending super chats, which do cost money. Super chats do cost money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to like get this is not Linus Tech Tips. Get out of here. Don't click the links. It's a scam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see that YouTuber has such a nice community that they'll go out their way to spend quite a bit of money to send that many super chats, just so they can alert the other members of the community that this is not actually the channel, right?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, because if you think about it, the people sending super chats were kind of protecting Linus, because then the community would have came back like, oh, what are you doing? You're scamming people, right? The more idiotic ones, but anyway.
Yeah.
So they did the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it does seem like it's a shame that it's happened. The thing that I've seen is essentially the phishing email that they typically send out to be like there was a while ago where like loads of people lost their accounts because an email was sent out essentially like authorized 2-factor authentication, click here to go to your channel, it all looks official and this, that, and the other, and essentially it just lets the hacker in by like keylogging. Essentially what happens, everything looks professional but it's obviously not. Yeah, it's a shame, I suppose, but it's also like,
yeah,
I wonder what the circumstances would be if there is going to be any circumstances, or like any consequences. Sorry, is what I should actually say. Simply because it's obviously someone has like.
yeah. I think Linus will get his channels back, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right, but even if he doesn't, his community is large enough that he can recreate the channel to some degree. If you know what I mean, like he could start another channel,
yeah,
and have it up and running, maybe
possibly.
to a similar degree.
I think there'll be enough. I think there'll be enough support surrounding it that I would think that because typically the only way to get hold of YouTube directly is to @ them on Twitter. I have a feeling that they'll most likely be able to get in touch with them quite quickly and be like, okay, this is quite obviously like a scam type thing. Hopefully an actual human reviews it, as is quite often a human does not actually look over what's been going on. I think they'll get the channel back quite quickly. They're a tech channel. They've been on YouTube for what, 11 years or something mental. Like they've been on for so long. It would seem almost insane for them to not be able to get the channel back. So I think they'll be fine. It would be odd if they didn't, simply because of the influence that they have, and that it's just so wide known by this point. Like, of course, it's going to be one of those. It'd be very surprising if they were like, nope, this is fine. You were hacked. We're just going to let them have it. And it's like, okay. I don't think they'll let them go that far, especially because of the amount of ad revenue they bring in. Obviously, they do really well with sponsor slots and things like that. That's how they keep the media group running. I don't think
Yeah.
it'll be that big of a deal. Like it'll be the next 2 or 3 days or so, and we'll see it all come back and just be like, oh, okay, yeah. They sorted it. Of course they did.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm very curious to see how this turns out.
We'll keep an eye on it. I don't think much will come of it. It's just, I think if anything, it'll be an inconvenience for a day that they weren't able to upload, and it will be like a missed date on their upload schedule unless they already got the videos out. They've got a lot of backing servers and all that kind of thing, so they wouldn't have lost any content. All of the stuff was still there.
I watch LINUS Actives quite a bit, and
same.
They have like so many servers, like with every video, like they have every single video they have it backed up on a server, so they wouldn't have necessarily lost any videos.
Yeah, no, the stuff will still be there, and I'm pretty sure that YouTube. I think there was a while ago actually that even when it comes to deleted channels, there's like a time frame that the videos are kept for a certain amount of time. It's probably for things exactly like this, of like if something were to happen and be like, oh, we need someone to physically review what's been going on. I think it will be fine. But I get what you mean in that they've got a lot of backing. And obviously they're a tech channel, so of course they're going to have the tech to be able to back up all their 4K red videos.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see.
Time.
Anything else been going on online that you've been keeping an eye out on?
Not really. I'm not chronically online. Well, I'm going to say something, but it's not like one of my friends has went insane.
You told me about this the other day, yeah.
So one of my friends, God bless him, right? He had an appendix operation.
Isn't God, but all right. Yeah, go on.
Whatever. Yeah. So he had an appendicitis operation, and then he went home. And then he went a bit off the rails after that. He had a nervous breakdown, and then he started hallucinating. He was saying, "Oh, AI is hacking me, and people are watching me on Reddit." He was telling us that there was this Reddit channel, right, where everyone was like watching him through a camera in his room, and everyone like making fun of him. There was no Reddit channel. He had no camera in his rooms. But yeah, it was very funny. It was funny at the beginning because we thought he was on some drugs.
Right.
Because a few nights before he went to a neighborhood which is known for substances.
Right. Yeah, one of those.
And it was obviously very late at night, so we were like, "Oh, you're on something, kid."
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember this was very funny. We laughed quite hard at this. We shouldn't have laughed, right? It was mean to laugh, but it was funny. He was like, "Oh, they took my home button off his phone," and they kept saying, "Oh, they took me home button, lad. They took me home button." He's very scouse, and he was like, "They took me home button." We could not stop laughing at him.
Jesus.
And then, like a minute later, he was like, "Oh, they gave it back." It was so funny.
Okay.
And like a minute later, it was like, "Oh, they gave back my home button." And now
just like that, everything's fine. Just they gave the home button back. Everything's fine.
Every single time, like something happens, it's like, "Oh, it's AI, lad. It's AI. It's coming for you." We make fun to one another. Obviously, him right now, he's in an insane asylum. Because he had following mental problems. He trashed his mother's house. He attacked his mother, actually, because the doctors found out his mother was actually one of his triggers to his thing for some awkward reason. But yeah, we don't know exactly what it is. But me and some friends are planning to go visit him because obviously he's a very good friend of ours. We haven't seen him in like a month.
Yeah. It would be weird if you didn't at least go and see him, just to be like, dude, what the fuck is going on? But it's unfortunate that that's happened. But obviously I don't know this person. I can only kind of, I guess, wish him the best to some degree. But as I said to you, like he's hitting that age, as we spoke slightly about this. And I'm not saying that this is, because I'm not like a diagnostician of any kind. He seems to be coming into the age that it could be schizophrenia.
Mm.
Which kind of lines up with what you've told me so far, my very limited knowledge of that. Which would be a
Obviously,
shame, but there's not
yeah,
much you can do about it other than medicate. So
yeah, we hope it isn't schizophrenia because he's a very good friend of ours. We have a lot of memories with him. We've known him for years.
yeah,
But if it is, our lives move on.
yeah. Well, there's only so much you can do to that degree.
Yeah.
But you'll just have to see if it hopefully works out. I mean, it's
Yeah. So for me, it's been an interesting couple of weeks.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's
Like I've actually done something with my life for once.
yeah. But have you done something? This is the thing. Like you're saying you've done something, but
Well,
you've been to a math class.
I am teaching a maths class
Yeah.
of extremely intelligent people that will get no bitches in the future.
that's not all that matters in the world, oddly enough. But
It isn't. It isn't. But as right, you're gonna want to punch me through the screen for this. But as Andrew Tate once said, you can be smart, but if you look like a geek, it doesn't matter.
that doesn't make any sense. It was like the fad that was not long ago that everyone was into dad bods, and it was like, oh my god, if you're not chiseled, you don't mean anything in this world. If you're 6 foot, you're insignificant. It's like, well, actually, dad bods are a thing. They don't necessarily. You might have, I don't know, short man strength or something.
Let me clarify something up here for you.
Okay.
When women that I've met said dad bods, have you seen Jason Momoa a little after Aquaman? That's what they mean by dad bod.
No, that isn't what they mean by dad bod, because if you look at the stereotypical dad bod of what you and me would think of, as in like beer belly, slightly overweight, like big arms because they have like natural occurring strength, like the type of guy that you'd maybe find in the pub every other weekend or something because they have a very small group of mates. They're the type of people that end up married for the longest period of time, even though they're constantly complaining about their wives and always turn up in other shops being dragged around by their wives. That's the type of person that, for whatever reason, seemed to be a fad for a really long time. Yeah, that you could look up to someone like Jason Momoa after Aquaman and whatnot and be like, oh yeah, that's what they mean by dad bods. It's like, that's fucking Jason Momoa. Like, there's a reason he's being looked at like that.
No, because I have asked like women, right? And like, so some were all that, and I asked them, what do you mean when you say dad bod? Or like, like, what do you mean? So, and they showed me a picture of Jason Momoa with a bit of a belly. And I was like, you are taking the piss. That guy's on more steroids than you can imagine. And
but he's also the one in the public eye, like, if he's going to have that kind of body shape. I'm not going as far as saying, like, fucking what Jonah Hill used to look like, and also fair play for Jonah Hill losing all the weight and whatnot. It's not that kind of level of dad bod, of someone who literally like, has the same chair that they sit in every day. But it's the kind of, I wouldn't say reasonably overweight, but you get what I mean by like that phrasing. Like someone who's, if I say the words a bit overweight, it doesn't really make too much sense. But someone with a bit of a gut going on.
That I wouldn't mind looking like Jason Momoa.
You wouldn't mind?
Yeah, I'm looking at some picture of Jason Momoa right now. I wouldn't mind looking like him,
I was it's all well and good, but what I have learnt slowly over time, or like I've had more feedback in this realm of things, if you will, is why I've never like fully delved into going to the gym and just being like absolutely fucking jacked. Like, I'm reasonably strong, but also it makes no difference to the rest of your life. You could lift a ton like Eddie Redmayne or whatever, or not Ed Redmayne, what's his name, Eddie Hearn?
Hall.
Whichever one.
Yeah, that
one.
That
doesn't affect 99% of people's lives. Like, being that strong just isn't necessary, because it's like, oh, you can beat up other people in a fight, and it's like the only time I've ever been in a fight is in school, and like outside of them grounds, it really doesn't mean anything.
Can you though?
What?
Like, I will put Eddie Hall against an MMA fighter, and he loses every single time.
But yeah, exactly. The circumstance you just set up was an MMA fighter. Someone who's gone down that route as a career, not as in like this weird protector on the street that's being attacked every 3 seconds and needs to defend off other hunter-gatherers. Anyway, the thing that I've learned slowly over time is that women, for whatever reason, really find it really uncomfortable to be physically close with someone who's jacked as shit because they aren't comfortable people to be around, which is why I think the whole dad bod became a thing for a while. It's like, yeah, I want someone who, like, when I hug them, it doesn't feel like a bag of bricks. Like, that's not comfortable. No one wants to do that. I don't want to do that. At least having a little bit of cushion there to some degree, be like, no, you're a comfortable human being, like, physically to be close to, rather than just like.
I understand what you're saying, but I believe that having a body that looks good, right? I'm not saying like chiseled abs and like, you have a shape to your body, you have some nice shoulders, you have a well-defined chest, you don't look like a twig, right?
Yeah, don't be obese as fuck and you'll be fine.
All
It's the
that,
shape of a human
right?
being.
I think like no, like I'm saying having like a good-looking body gives you a social status because it cannot be bought. You cannot cheat your way through it. Like you need to take insane amounts of steroids to look good, right? And I believe that you get some inherent respect, like for many people.
Possibly, but I like how you just said you can't cheat your way through it, and then immediately followed it up with steroids.
Well, yeah, but Rune, I will give you all the steroids in the world. I will train with you for 2 years, and you will still not look as good as The Rock.
No, of course I don't want to look like that. I don't want to be a bag of bricks. Like, no, I would be uncomfortable in what I was able to do, just being subjected to my own muscles in the way of being able to do anything. It just it's. If there was ever like a male ick, which I fucking hate that phrase, then that is mine for myself. I'd just be like, no, I'm so uncomfortable in just being able to not be somewhere and be like, oh yeah, look at these muscles all the time. Great, cool. It means nothing. But
no, it shows discipline. It shows self-respect.
Oh yeah, no, I shouldn't. Okay, so I misspoke slightly in saying that it means nothing. But on the grand scheme of things, it's like cool that you've taken pride in your appearance, but on a larger scale, you may gain some respect and whatnot. And it's like, okay, fair enough. You've got the discipline and you can put yourself through it, but it doesn't mean an awful lot. Like it doesn't make you a better person. Like you can be an absolute dickhead and go to the gym every day. It's like, as most people in my area are. But
oh no, you can definitely be a dickhead.
Yeah, I prefer someone who's like happy in themselves and is a reasonable human being, rather than like putting all their social stuff aside to be like, I gotta go to the gym, I gotta be fucking jacked. It's like, yeah, cool, miss out on, I don't know, social standing to some degree, because all you want to do is live at a gym and lift weights and stare at yourself in the mirror and take fucking selfies. So alright.
Actually, I'll send you one right now and then you can review it.
No, I'm good, right? This is the end of the podcast.
I will.
No, I don't give a shit.
You will get 1 more second.
I'm not gonna care about this. Well done. You took a selfie in a fuck off mirror. I'm like, okay, well done. That's not why you go to the gym for, but all right.
It's not in the mirror. It's in the window because it was light. And like,
great. Yeah, even better. So you've sent me something absolute dog shit. Oh, great. Well done. What do you want? A fucking medal?
Yes, please.
No. Right. End of podcast. This one was slightly quieter than normal because we were considerate and yeah, during this podcast, I actually made the thumbnail as well. So if anyone wants to let me know how the thumbnails are actually going, that'd be great. No one commented on the last one as far as I can see. So you didn't make it this far anyway. So no one gives a shit up to this point. Say what you want. You close out the podcast. Go.
Thank you very much for listening. As always, thank you for giving us your time. And if you do get this far, comment, suck on these nuts.
So mature. So... This is why I call you a fucking idiot.